Alright, hey guys, hole 6 here coming up, and just setting my bag. One of the things that I would recommend for you guys, I'm not really able to do it. I have one royal ball, and I'm not gonna use it for this shot. There just seems to be kind of a more important shot probably out there for me to save that for. But I do highly recommend you guys bringing your royal ball to this hole. It's going to make setting up the approach shot easier than what I'm going to have to do. But at the very least, I'm going to give you guys a very easy eagle approach to this hole. The most important thing when you're going about playing this one is making sure that you're aware of your ball guide and tailwind. It's going to expand out a bit, so you need to make sure that you keep that second hop maybe in the top 2/3 of the fairway, because it's going to expand out and get closer to that edge, the 80-90% of that fairway towards the tip. So you do need to keep that landing zone in mind. I do recommend going left over right. You can see the biggest reason is going to be for the second shot wind. So I'll be much more of a tailwind, and this one's going to be much more side oriented than mine will be. So that'll be something that will just give you that little bit of extra boost. And keep in mind what I'm doing with my side spin. I'm going to basically try to counter the wind as best as I can and get it over here towards the left of the fairway, because I know that after the wind effect, and as I mentioned, see how I'm keeping like 2/3 of the fairway as opposed to getting, I'm not going to try to add power to this or anything. I'm just going to play my my ring play pretty spot up here, maybe 6.5 rings for a 9 for me. And for the most part, just keep it very centered. The side spin that I put should straighten this out a bit. Let's see how this looks. And there you can see, look how close that was. So it's something that was well planned, well thought out, to be able to get that close and get that aggressive, but keep it out of the rough as well. So you don't want to go into power unless you can go into power, if you have to do that with Thor's hammer or whatever, extra mile, it's not a big deal. Just make sure that you're trying to mimic my landing zone. That's the big key thing. So wherever I landed, you can't go any deeper into that fairway on the first hop, or your second hop could potentially land into that rough. So just something to factor in when you're hitting that drive. But at the very least, you can see this course is very easy when you take advantage of some of these subtle nuances of everything that they created for these holes. So now the goal here is to be able to put the least amount of topspin as possible. I also like to, since it is a little angled wind, I like to come at this with some right spin. So left spin, sorry. So you'll see what I tried to do here is I'll try to purposely deflect it, knowing that after I hit the shot, it'll probably, straighten out a bit. But see what I'm doing with the guide, and also keep in mind that my guide is intentionally short. Also, when I go about playing these rings, I have to do an overplay. So you're going to see me almost go 10 rings there, and you're going to see the ball guide expand out. Even though that I went so many extra rings, you'll see that, I give this a chance, and you can see that it almost gets there. So, that was within probably half a ring of being perfection. Ideally, personal preference, I don't want it to slow roll off that fringe quite that much. So if you can just kind of, a great ball right would have took care of it. It might have even went in with a great ball right. Like, it would have been that close, because it wouldn't have been coming in quite so slow. It wouldn't have slowed down. Might have held its line and been in the cup. So keep in mind what I just did there. It was a very sound technique. It was just a little bit off. So do keep that in mind so you don't wind up in the back. Oh, wow, that's the first time I've seen a great ball in the cup. I've seen very few perfect balls in the cup, so highly unusual there. But in any regard, I don't know where I'm at score-wise. I know it's not very good, so I'll just give you guys a little bonus coverage here. I'm no longer in a threat to qualify, so we might as well just come to this hole, and you can basically treat this as a Tour 9 shootout, for example. So what I would typically do is probably something very similar to my opponent here, is I would play this fairway. We'll see how close he hits it here. I might, just try to get some. I might try to go for the bunker bump, bunker rough bump. What's nice about the new changes that they made is the surface is now very consistent. I think that's why they overhung that tree, is because the rough bump would have just been even easier. It was going to be so easy that if they didn't do something, that it was just going to be too easy with the new the new redesign changes. Because you can see when I set up to land on this surface that there's nothing complicated about the way this rolls out anymore at all. One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to come off my side spin, come off my top spin a bit, and I'm going to come in at kind of at this angle. I am going to play a little bit below min, so I'm not going to go full 8 rings. There's what, 7.8 maybe? Perfect ball. Let's just see what this looks like. Pretty good. Looks like just a hair too much curl, but overall none too bad. Just make sure you're using kind of a mid-club adjustment. I went about 7.8-ish rings, probably maybe even 7.5 would have been a little bit better. So just something to keep in mind. Good luck with your guys' 6th hole there. In my opinion, 6 and 9 are the hardest too. So you just want to focus on, definitely just avoiding the mistake and playing smart there. So good luck, and catch you guys for hole 7 coming up.